Hi. So we're going to start to give you some tools that you can get rid of some of the challenges that you may or may not have diagnosed as mental issues or of the mind. So of the mind issues are those that at a conscious and mostly an unconscious level affect our ability to perform something, in this case let's call it golf wise, effectively because we have some disruption. And that disruption is at an energy level, and it's to do with how we're wired, and some of you may have heard these terms, our meridian lines, and the energy that flows. So when we have something that we don't feel comfortable about, may even be pain, headaches, then there's some disruption in this system, and mostly this disruption in our energy field eventually comes to either something like a headache or a negative emotion. And that negative emotion may have ways of disrupting our the physics of motion, in this case, to perform an act within the golf swing. So that could be the yips, first tee nerves, anxiety about specific holes, about specific shots, and we somehow connect the fact that the lack of correct thinking isn't giving us the emotional capacity to feel the confidence and strength that we need to go on. Now this EFT, emotional freedom technique, was brought to us in this beautiful way by a guy called Gary Craig, who got it from other people in the past. It is, I wouldn't say it's for the really deep-seated things that may be causing us emotional or mental problems, but it certainly will work at the level that we want. It's maybe going to require a little bit of a leap in faith. I certainly was very skeptical the first time that I was introduced it, and I wouldn't expect you to be any different. But there's a number of ways that you can explore it, and I'm going to show you the basic way to explore it. Gary actually calls it his basic recipe, and it's the idea that we tap on the ends of some of these emotional lines on the meridian in a way to disrupt the way that we've assumed this before. So the first start is to know the points of which we're going to tap in, and I'm going to educate you to that. So we have the edge of the eyebrow, the edge of the eye, underneath the nose, underneath the chin, our collarbone, underneath our arm, just below our nipple, and then on the hands, the thumb, the fingers, all but the ring finger, and then the karate chop, and a couple of other points that are going to come into effect are the sore point that we have here and the gamut point that's on the back of the hand here. So these are some of the points that we're going to use. But first of all, and all we're going to do today is we're going to make up a statement. So the statement is about accepting yourself even though you've got this challenge, but it's also about the idea that that we need to know what it is and what gets fired off. So we actually have to fire off almost this emotion. We have to think about this emotion to then, when we do the tapping, to disrupt that energy flow. So it might be a really good idea in the first place to think about, you know, when you have the yips or those first tee nerves or anything else that you have a concern about, and on a scale of 1 to 10, when you fully associate into that challenge and experience it, where it is on a scale of 1 to 10. So, you know, certainly if you feel like that as you're over putts or chips, then you might be up anything from a 6, as it's actually not important in your life, to a 10 if it's very important in your life. And just mark that so you've got this base statement. Then we really make up a statement that includes the challenge. So that may be, even though I have the yips, and then I deeply and utterly or completely forgive myself. It could be even though I have first T nerves, I completely and utterly forgive myself. Even if I never stop worrying about going out of bounds at the 6th, I completely and utterly forgive myself. Even if I can never successfully chip onto the green and put it to within 3 foot, I completely and utterly forgive myself. So before we do this exercise tomorrow in its fullness, then find that statement that applies to you, and then tomorrow we'll run through the exercise once or twice, and then you can give it a go and report back to me. So in the meantime, I hope you're playing golf today or this weekend. Have a great time, but most of all, stay safe.